All right, all right, all right. Welcome to a good old fashioned Ask Me Anything. Now, I know that some of you are going to ask me some stuff that is not really uh, involved in the AMA, but that's okay. That's okay because, I'm here for you. And even though I am your cranky marketing uncle, I actually like you quite a bit. So, I've taken the liberty of compiling a list of some of the most, not the most, but some of the questions I've gotten. And so I'm going to fire these away now, but I will be watching the messages. I've got a funny setup here because on my desktop, I'm streaming to YouTube through StreamYard. But then here on my phone, you can't see what I'm pointing at. But anyway, on my phone, I'm going into Facebook. So I've got to keep turning and looking at the phone to get questions. But so the first question is a good one. What is organic marketing? So organic marketing is, first of all, it's mostly what you're going to do if you're a coach, an expert of any kind, an agency, anyone who wants to get clients from social media, and maybe you're starting out, maybe you're like revenue wise, I would say organic marketing is really a great way to go for people who are kind of in the, let's say, 15,000 and below range per month. And organic marketing is really marketing that doesn't cost you money to execute. It's really what it is. And so if you want to kind of like dive in deeper to what organic marketing is, there are quite a few aspects to it. So all marketing is about crafting a message that relates to your offer, your service, or your product, whatever it is you want to sell in the marketplace. You're crafting a message about it. And you're then finding ways to deliver that message to an appropriate audience. So that's I mean, there's more to marketing than that. But at the high level, marketing is called marketing because it's bringing your thing to market. Right? That's why it's called that. And so when we talk about what is organic marketing, what we mean by that is what kind of marketing is available to you without spending money on ads or funnels or, whatever else costs money to do. And everybody kind of like has interest in organic marketing, but very few people seem to really understand it. So I want to kind of go over for you some of the things that you need in place to succeed with organic marketing. You need to have an audience, obviously. Where can you find an audience? Well, you can build an audience of up to 5,000 on Facebook. And you should. You absolutely should. You can do the same thing on Twitter and LinkedIn, and they don't have, as far as I know, they don't have limitations on how many people can be in your audience. But each platform has different rules you have to follow and things you have to be aware of insofar as how you build your audience. For Facebook, which is my primary platform, what I suggest is sending people friend requests, but then vet the person, look at their profile a little bit and kind of see, would this person be a good fit for me? Is this my avatar? If they are, send them a friend request. And here's the part that everybody gets wrong. Once you send them the friend request, don't do anything. Don't reach out and say hi. Don't send them a video. Don't introduce yourself. You don't need to do any of that. And in fact, we're so defensive about people coming into our DMs that in most cases, it's going to work against you if you send someone a friend request and then right away you message them. Your message, whatever it is going to be met with suspicion. And more often than not, it's just going to be ignored. So here's the thing. When you send someone a friend request and they accept, Facebook favors both of your content to the other person's feed for, let's call it 2 weeks. And so to be successful with organic marketing, if you're not going to do that uninvited cold outreach stuff that almost all of us hate, I personally hate it. I will never do it in this context. For me, uninvited cold outreach is better for business to business. And there are certain places where it makes more sense, but just hiring an assistant to send out 1,000 messages a day is awful. It is awful. So anyway, I don't do that. And I don't teach that, and I don't suggest you do it. To answer the original question, what is organic marketing? It is all marketing that you can do without spending money to do it. It's using your time and effort versus your money. That's what organic marketing is. So I'm just kind of looking here. I see that we've got some people on the call, but I don't see anybody saying anything yet. April is here. Lee is here. Josh is here. Colin is here. There are some others too. So if you have any questions, guys, just pop them into the chat and I will answer them for you. So what do we have next? We covered what is organic marketing. So the next question is, why do you keep making all of those freebies? No, sorry. How do you keep making all of those freebies? And if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, it's all the little free trainings that I keep giving out. So I'm actually going to talk about how and why. How I make them is I know my material very, very well. I know everything that I teach like the back of my hand. And so for me, I can sit down in front of the camera and literally just go stream of consciousness and create valuable trainings. And that's because anything that I put into a training, I've taught hundreds of times already. I'm very familiar with it. Now, you don't have to have taught it hundreds of times to create free trainings. Free trainings. Hey, Britt, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining in. Free trainings are really, if you think of all of your expertise as a big, delicious cookie, why not, right? So the complete body of expertise that you have is a big, delicious cookie. The free trainings are what you give out after you've broken that big, delicious cookie into a whole bunch of little pieces. It's the criteria for a free training that I stand by and that I teach are, it has to have real value. It has to be relevant to your expertise. That's it. Now, common question. Well, how do you make them? And what people mean by that when they say that is not what is my process. They mean, should it be video? Should it be PDF? Should it be something else? It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's high value. That's the key. Okay. High value is the key here. You got to give real value. Now, why do you have to give real value with these trainings? Well, here's the thing. When people accept your trainings and go through them, there's a few things happening here. One is you're proving your skill. And you got to bear in mind that skepticism and cynicism is high, right? And by the way, just a little callback here to the cold outreach thing. The biggest reason skepticism and cynicism are so high in this market is 100% because of all the cold outreach. It's 100% because it is so invasive to have people just constantly bombarding us with worth a chat. We do this, we do that. Never even considering. And by the way, if this is you, take this to heart. If you come into somebody's messenger and you've got basically the same old, we'll get you 20 clients or 20 calls worth a chat kind of pattern, you have to know, some part of you has to know, because wherever you learned it, that person is teaching other people. You've got to know that we're getting that all the time. Those messages are fucking meaningless to us. Okay, so just stop doing that. Just stop it. And if you're one of those I respect the hustle people, good for you. Good for you. I respect the hustle too. I just don't like the delivery. Okay, you want to hustle, figure out how to do cold outreach right. And there is a right way. And I'm not talking about that here, but there is a right way. So back to this, like, how do you do your free trainings? I just take one little piece of everything that I teach and I just talk about it. But I talk about it in a teaching way. There are different ways of talking about your content. And if you want to learn how to market so you can get clients, you're going to want to learn this part too. When you talk about what you do and why you do it, that's compelling to people. When you talk about how you do it, that's teaching people. And so there's a time and a place for both, right? Now, one of the problems with teaching too much, and especially when you teach too much all at once, is you can give people what I call premature enlightenment. And what this is you can confuse them by teaching too much and have them think they know everything. Now, two very unfortunate things happen here when you do this. One is you send somebody away, whether you realize it or not, thinking they know what to do, when oftentimes they don't, in fact. So you're giving them a false sense of hope. Now, the other thing is you're repelling somebody who could otherwise be a client for you, right? Does that make sense? Because if I think I know everything that you have to offer, why would I hire you? Yeah. And so you want to focus in your, by the way, the antidote to giving them too much so that they think they know everything is small trainings. If you're on this live stream, you've probably seen 2 or 3 of my trainings, and you can probably attest that they're legitimately valuable. You can take them and make money with them. You can. But also, statistically, you haven't applied them yet. It's just statistics, right? It's just, there's no kind of like, it's not because of you, it's just human behavior. So it's not a judgment of you, but the likelihood is you have not applied what you've learned yet. So what's happening then psychologically? Well, psychologically, I'm showing you that I know what I'm doing. I'm showing you my personality, which is arguably more important than showing you that I know what I'm doing. Because, and please, if you don't track anything else, track this. In the world of service providers, there are only 2 possible categories you can be in. You can be in a category where you have niched down so far that nobody's going to hire you. You might get 1 or 2 clients based on some other factors. But if, like, for instance, I had a conversation once with somebody who called herself a happiness coach, and she didn't have any clients. And I think you can see why, right? That's a very obscure thing. Like, how can you promise you'll deliver that? How do you know? What if I have chemical imbalances you're not aware of? There's any number of things that immediately disqualify that as a good offer. And then I had one person who told me that they coached middle and high school kids on embodiment from a trauma-informed perspective. Now, if you don't know what that means, don't feel bad, because nobody knows what that means. In fact, she couldn't even explain to me what that meant. So you see, there are categories and niches and verticals that are not worth exploring. But the other category you could be in, if you're not in that category, is you're in the category of you offer a service that other people offer too, right? And so when me as a prospect just knows what you offer, I compare you based on prices and features. I do not compare you based on anything else. Why? Because all I know about you is that you sell or do or offer X. So one of the really impactful things about the mini trainings is they give you a chance to sense my personality so you can know if you'd like to work with me or not. And you need this. And by the way, this segues nicely into the next question, which is, I keep hearing about personal brands. What are they, and do I need one? That's the next question. Let me get to this first, finish this thought, and then we'll go into that. See, if there are 1 million people who do what you do, the thing that's going to differentiate you from them is your personality. Yes, your expertise is important, but your personality is actually more important. Hey, Tracy. Tracy's joined. Thank you. Jen, welcome. Troy, welcome. Josh. Okay. Yeah, we got some folks. We got some people. I don't see any questions from you guys, though. I'm just going off the list here. You got a question, pop it in the chat. Tell me what you want to learn here. So here's what's happening with the free trainings. You're establishing your expertise, but more importantly, for differentiation, you're establishing your personality, right? And you're also building trust, and you're building reciprocity. And this is very powerful. This is, in a very real way, this is the antidote to all that sleazy marketing that turns you off. This is what is called attraction-based marketing, or it's called value-based marketing. There's another word for it. What was the other term? Permission-based marketing. Anyway, the point of it is that you're not trying to force people into a corner and sort of outsmart them into saying yes to your thing that you sell. You are earning their trust over time. And that segues perfectly into the next question, which was, I keep hearing about personal brands. What are they, and do I need one? All right. Take a drink of water, settle in, because this one's big. This one's big. I don't know how much you guys track the trends in the marketing world, but you're probably familiar with short form content. And you're probably familiar with Alex Hormozi really taking it to the nth degree. And now, as a result, you see all these people doing these short form pieces of content with the colorful captions, and everything sort of, like moving and feels kinetic. That doesn't really do much except raise your awareness. And a word to the wise too. If you're cranking out short form content just so that you can feel like you've posted 3 or 4 of these a day, and you're not paying attention to what you put into that content, just by the demands of the volume of content for that Alex Hormozi short form content strategy to work, and work is like in quotation marks anyway, just to meet the demands of that level of content creation, you are probably going to put out content that actually works against your brand, because the overall message that you create in the minds of people is super important. Now, whether Hormozi or whoever actually talks about that part of it, they understand it. Whether they share it with you or not, they understand it, right? But here's the thing. Here's what most people don't understand. Short form content by itself, it doesn't have enough value in it. It's just little snippets. And so again, yes, people become aware of you, and that is good. But hold on. Okay, yeah, there we go. So it is good to have people aware of you, but you've got to have a plan for when they're aware of you. And the short form content blitz thing doesn't have a plan other than awareness. Now Alex Hormozi himself directs people from that to other places, and you would want to do that too. But we're talking about a personal brand now, and here's the deal. The reason he's successful with short form content is because he has a personal brand, and it's a powerful one. And the reason he has a personal brand is because of short form content, but it's also because of his 2 books. It's because of the big webinar he did. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes that you would never be able to perceive if you didn't already know what to look for. So, personal brand. That's what we're talking about here. Here goes. Your personal brand is defined as what people say, think, and feel about you when you're not there. It's creating the image you want people to have of you. Now, that having been said, I strongly suggest you do not create a false image, because those always backfire. So, where was I going with that? Yes, you want to create a cohesive image, idea, myth, narrative, whatever you want to call it, about you in the minds of your audience. That's what the personal brand is. Now, why is a personal brand important? Because as I was just saying in the last question, the antidote to lack of trust is long form content. It really is. It is, you build your personal brand through expressing who you are. That's what I was talking about. Most people focus too much on what they have to sell, how much it costs, how you can get it. But they don't ever take the time to put out content that allows you to feel like you get to know them. Now imagine you have, what's a great example would be realtors, right? You don't need a realtor until you need a realtor. Wouldn't you agree? And when you need one, what's the first thing you do? You start to think of people you know who you think have had good experiences with realtors, and you call them and ask for referrals. This is why realtors work on referrals so much. But what if you as the realtor could just be top of mind all the time, right? And what if everybody who thought of you understood that you were a human and kind of knew your story? Now there's one person they feel like they can relate to and 99 others who are just realtors. This is clutch. This is key. This is weird too, because this is something that for me, I understood this intuitively, but people really struggle when I try to teach them. And so I'm just going to try again here and just tell you, if you don't want to be compared strictly on price and features, you have to have a personal brand. That shifts the way we think about you from just another sort of faceless service provider to a person. And look, as cliche as it sounds, we want to do business with people. And we want to do business with people that we like and people that we think are like us. And so the personal brand is the way you create that. And it's a long play. It happens over time. And quite frankly, if you want to make your money online in the digital space, we're moving more and more toward you will have to have a personal brand. You can't even rely on strictly paid traffic to fuel you because there are too many variables. Facebook can change their rules tomorrow and take your account away from you. I think many of you know that Facebook doesn't even have to change your rules. They can just screw with you, right? So the personal brand is how you offset all the risks of paid traffic. Now, paid traffic works great. Don't get me wrong. But you do want to have a personal brand strategy as well. So let's see. What's the next question? This is a good one. How can I get people to notice my offers? Settle in, kids. This is one that everybody asks me. This is because it's at the crux of it, right? It's the very heart of your problem. And when you figure it out, it's the very heart of your solution. So how do you make your offers? Well, typically you're going to make them either on social media, or you're going to attract people from social media into conversations off of social media where you make your offers. But how do you get those people in the first place? Well, the secret there is you need to know how to write for the platform. This is a big one. I'll just give you some examples of mistakes that people commonly make. So using dense blocks of text when you write. If I see that, in fact, if all of us see that, we're just going to scroll right past it because it feels like too much of a commitment. You can take the exact same content and just put white spaces between it, and psychologically, it feels easier to read. This is such an easy change to make, and yet people are so slow to sort of latch onto it. So you got to be able to write for the platform. One of the keys to writing for the platform, again, is paying attention to making it look like it's easy to read. Another secret to writing for the platform is you have to know how to create headlines. You just have to. David Ogilvy, the legend of advertising and the guy that Mad Men was based on, famously said, when you write your headline, you've spent 80 cents of your marketing dollar. Just going to leave that there for a second. Let it kind of ruminate for you. Let it postulate. Let it percolate. Yeah. Feel that? Feels good. That's 80 cents of your dollar gone, baby. You got to have good headlines. So what's the function of a headline? The function of a headline is to grab attention from distracted people who are in zombie mode. Look, guys, each platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, they have different intent. What do I mean by different intent? I mean, we come to each of those platforms for different reasons. Sure, there's the addictive sort of compulsive, like just go check the social media. But Facebook, for example, you come on Facebook to be distracted. Twitter, you probably go on Twitter to argue, if I'm being honest, right? Why you get your rocks off doing that shit is just beyond me, but whatever. That's a different live stream. LinkedIn is professionals, and of course, it's overrun with bad offers too, but basically it's for professionals. And so you get people coming onto the platform with different expectations and intent. And then YouTube, people go to YouTube to learn, right? They want answers to questions, or they want entertaining content, but they go there with the intent to find something. Now think about that, because that's not the case for any of the other platforms I just mentioned, right? Different intent means you have to approach it differently. And so if even on YouTube, you look at the thumbnails and the smart people are using old school headline tactics on the thumbnails. Curiosity, intrigue, shocking revelations, putting numbers in the headlines. All of these things grab our attention and make us curious. So the way I like to talk about it is, somebody asked me one time, what's your philosophy on writing headlines? And my philosophy is your headline needs to just pimp slap the taste out of the mouth of your audience. You got to grab their attention. That's why David Ogilvy said you spent 80 cents of your marketing dollar when you wrote your headline. You've got to grab attention with it. And soft writing won't work. Ambiguous writing won't work. Writing that is structured the way you think probably won't work. Here's a couple of things that work really well and work virtually every time. Directly call out the audience you want to speak to. And as corny as it sounds, something like, "Hey, coach," really works well. In fact, the ads I run for my clients, it works every time. It's crazy how well it works. And I hate writing it because it feels so stupid and trite. But copywriting, writing to get attention, is just that. It's not about your creative expression as much as it's about utility. You want headlines that have maximum utility and minimum drag. And so you got to grab people's attention. So if I want to talk to pregnant mothers or nursing mothers, I don't say, "Hey, coach," right? I obviously. And then I want to create intrigue. So things like finally revealed, shocking news, discovered at last. These are phrases that create intrigue. It's hard to turn away from these phrases because our minds are wired to look for questions and answer them. So the next part of the headline formula, I guess I'm giving you a headline formula. So you've got the big attention that calls out the person. And really, for headlines, for most of you, for offers, it's, here's the solution to your problem if you're this kind of person. So coaches under $10,000 a month, here's how you get headlines that work. That's a headline that talks about headlines and calls you out. Okay? Good. So you guys, I'm a little disappointed. Nobody is popping questions here. I'm glad that I wrote down the other questions. So yeah, if you guys are still into this, make some noise. Show me something. Pop a question in, give me some emojis. Let me know that you're here and you're digging this. Because quite frankly, what the hell am I doing here if I'm not helping you guys, right? So, do you have questions or not? Okay, I'm going back to the questions on the list then. So we just covered what is a personal brand and do I need one? The answer is yes. And then why is nobody paying attention to my offers? which actually I organize these this way on purpose. The next question is, how do I make a good offer? All right. So what goes into a good offer, especially in an industry where there's a million people that do what you do? You have to have what's called a unique mechanism if you really want your offer to sort of pop out. And a unique mechanism can be as simple as your own process that you've named something. It can be more than that too. I'll give you an example. One of the services I provide is I help people run their own Facebook groups profitably, right? But I'm competing with a big company when I offer this offer. And so I wanted something that they didn't do. So I thought to myself, how about I'll build your Facebook group, write all the copy for your ads, and create your whole funnel for you, and then run it. See, that's something nobody else does. That's a way to take the same fundamental kind of deliverable and change it so that it becomes irresistible to the right person. And I'm just going to give myself a quick little shout out here. If you'd like to talk to me about your own offer, your own group, and me helping you to monetize it, all you have to do is just send me a message or tag me. If you're in the group, just tag me. If you're seeing this as a replay and maybe you're not in the group, you could still just tag me, but you can also just reach out to me in DMs and tell me that you want to talk about my Done For You group offer. And speaking of promoting myself, you probably, you guys in the group can't see the replay recording because it's done on a different platform. But all of this organic marketing stuff I cover in great detail inside the Client Creation University, which is my membership program. Now, you may have seen a post or two from me talking about how you can work with me for a year for $5 a day. And that's what it is. It's getting into the membership community where I personally, every week, teach you the strategic, tactical ways that you can start positioning yourself as an expert and starting to get clients organically without having to spend any money on ads. Now, I realize that I've just sort of plugged two things here, so I want to slow down and I don't want to confuse you. But if you want to talk to me about the Client Creation University, again, you can tag me in the group and just tell me what you want to talk about, or you can just come into my DMs and just tell me you want to talk about the membership program. And I got to tell you, this membership program is everything you'll ever need to know, ever, to master organic client attraction. Like, you can get clients right off of your profile. I do it all the time. I have hundreds of people at this point I've taught how to do it, and I can teach you how to do it. So if you want to talk about that, and by the way, like I said, it's so crazy affordable because not everyone is ready to invest in high ticket stuff. And I totally get that. So the client creation method or university it's like, if you sign up for the year, it's literally $5 a day. And if you want to go at a different, like a lower commitment, the price goes up a little bit, but it's still under $6 a day. That's the Client Creation University. Now, we were talking about your offer. So first of all, you need a unique mechanism in your offer, like I was saying. Second of all, going back to what I just said about learning how to write for the platform, you have to learn how to present your offer in a sexy, exciting, and compelling way, which comes down to the writing part. By the way, I teach how to write for the platform and how to develop your signature offer inside the Client Creation University. I also cover how to build your personal brand and everything else. I'm telling you, it's all there. It is the best freaking value you will ever find if getting more clients is your objective. Organically, I should say. You know what? I'm going to wrap it there because it's gone over a half an hour now. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Now, if those of you guys on the call had actually asked questions, and I'm not trying to shame anybody here, but it is an AMA. So, I'm going to sign off for now, but I want to remind you that if you need help with this stuff, $5 a day is extremely manageable. So get in touch with me, tag me or whatever, get into my DMs and just tell me you want to talk about the membership program. Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Let's see, I'm out, and that's that.